process. We're going to go through the process, give some examples. So is anyone here used a strategic planning process in the past? Okay. So what would be your definition of a strategic plan?
It's your, how would I say, your vision for your business in the next 5 to 10 years.
For the next 5 to, okay, then.
So I see it to be about to achieve your goals in the next 5 to 10 years.
To achieve your goals in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, good. That's good. Anybody else have a definition?
Or maybe your long-term.
Long-term, yes.
Your long-term direction.
Long-term direction.
Yeah, long-term.
Long-term direction. And how do you get there?
Yeah.
Right? How do you get there?
It's rules from strategy, military strategy.
Military strategy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that. Military strategy. Good. Well, the Business Dictionary defines a strategic plan as a systematic process for envisioning a desired future and translating this vision into defined goals or objectives in a sequence of steps to achieve them. I think that's the challenge is coming up with a sequence of steps to achieve your goals and your vision. So we're going to use this tool right here. It's called the Business Planning Pyramid. And this is, most of the pyramid is, I got from a friend of mine. His name is Chuck Violand. He has Violand Management back in the U.S. But one thing that we added to it, God as CEO added to the pyramid was the values. I mean, we're so, Brandon's company and God as CEO and Doug's company, my company, we all have a defined, really the values, really the heart and soul of the company. And so we feel that it's like the foundation of the business. So this may look a little confusing, but we're going to take it piece by piece, right? Anybody ever heard how's the best way to eat an elephant? One piece at a time. So that's kind of what we're going to do with this. So really, going back here, so the mission and the vision. I just talked about how important the values are. Well, your mission is at the top. Your values are the foundation. Your mission is that. And those are two of the things that change. If they change, it's a big change, right? The other things in the other four items would change more often. But your mission, that's what gets you out of bed. That ought to stay constant, and your values stay constant. So what we're going to do, we'll talk about those more toward the end, and we're going to focus on these other four areas here right away. And so the other four areas of vision, like you said, 5 or 10 years down the road, and then 35-year goals. That's your halfway point to your vision. And then there's major business objectives of the 3 to 4 things that you're going to do this year. And then you've got your strategies, your tactics, your projects, your tasks, which I don't want to get too hung up on what's the difference in a strategy and a project or a task, because it doesn't really matter. What matters is that's what you do every day that drives you toward hitting your objectives for the year. So, vision, again, is crucial to have a good vision, to have a solid vision, a picture of where you're going to go, but then everything else needs to fall in line. It all needs to drive each other, and it all needs to be in line. So give me an example. Why do you think it's important that what you're doing every day drives to your vision? I mean, why is that important? Yes?
Because that's the compass. It's what guides you.
Okay, there you go. That's a great answer. It's the compass. It's the compass that's what guides you. So why would you be wasting time doing something that's not going to help you achieve your vision? I mean, I think that's a great question for all leaders of businesses to ask themselves. Is this project, is that going to help us achieve our vision? And the example, this is a very simple example, but the example that I like to use is if you owned a men's clothing store in Accra, and your vision was to be the best men's retailer of men's clothing in Accra. and then someone came to you, a broker came to you and said, hey, I've got a great shipment of the latest fashions from Europe of women's dresses, and this is going to blow off the shelf. You know, would you take them? And I got a great price. I mean, would you? I mean, it would be tempting, but would you do that? Would you take that deal?
No.
Why?
Because it's not aligned.
It's not aligned.
To the vision.
It's not aligned to your vision, and some of the businesses can get off track, and that's such a temptation. That's a temptation for me. Our business, we are visual communication. We have such a broad array of things. It's too broad, and I'm always trying to pull it back in. But there's always a temptation to, hey, we've got 5 retail stores. We can sell this. We can sell that. But no, it doesn't fit in with the vision. It's crucial to stay in with your vision. So let's talk about vision. I mean, what is vision? Somebody mentioned it. It's how your business is going to look in 5 to 10 years. And so, I mean, what does that mean? How detailed is that? I think it's pretty detailed, but there's some other business leaders who I really respect and that have some quotes. I'm just going to read these because I couldn't say it any better. John Maxwell. Anybody heard of John Maxwell? John Maxwell says leadership is all about casting vision and motivating people. That's what a leader does. Followers expect 4 things from the leader: honesty, competence, inspiration, and vision. The people that are following you expect you to communicate the vision. Ken Blanchard, anybody ever heard of Ken Blanchard? Doug mentioned him last night. He's the Lead Like Jesus guy, the founder. He says that the leader is responsible for setting the vision of the company and directing people toward that vision. So the vision is, it's a picture of the future. It's a picture of where you want your organization, your business, or even your life to be in 5 or 10 years. I mean, I've used the same planning process with a person that is looking for direction in his life. You can use the same process. So not only in terms of what the business looks like from a physical standpoint, from a revenue standpoint, from a people standpoint, but another thing that you should really keep in mind is what is life like inside of the company? I mean, what is it? What are people doing? What are they feeling in 10 years? What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to do? Does that make sense? What impact on the community do you want your customers, your employees? I mean, what do you want your business to look like in 10 years? And I just give you another simple example for me of how this is before I knew any of this. And it's another business that I had, Rainbow International Restoration. And I didn't do planning process. And I knew about planning process, but I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't sold that it was important. So I started this business, and it was a business I knew nothing about. Started from the ground up, and so we were working, and I'm thinking, I was getting frustrated. And I said, I need to know what a successful business like mine looks like. And what's that? It's a vision. So I went and saw another Rainbow International franchise that had 4 employees, and he had 2 trucks. And that's not what I wanted to be in 2 years. I want to be bigger than that, but that's that was what I needed at that point. I went and visited him and his business for a day, and I came back and I said, okay, I got it. And then I got to that level pretty quickly, and I said, I gotta see what a bigger company looks like. And then I went and saw another Rainbow International franchisee that had like 10 trucks and had 20 people, and I said, okay, I got it. And then he gave me a vision. He gave me a vision of where I needed to be. And that's really the same thing that we're talking about. It's, and having a vision of what, where you want to be, where your company wants to be, where you want it to be in 5 to 10 years. Anybody have an example of a vision of their organization you want to share? We'll get into some examples a little later on. But under vision is your 5-year goal. So 3 to 5 year goal. So what this is a stepping stone to hitting. If you got a 10-year vision, it's difficult if you're just starting out, right? You got no customers, you got no employees, you got an idea, and you have a grand 10-year vision. Well, you got stepping stones, right? So you need to know, okay, when we're at the halfway point, how are we going to know we're there? I mean, if you're taking off on a journey. If I'm going to walk from Richmond, Virginia to Los Angeles, California, it's 3,000 miles. If I'm going to walk with nothing but a compass, I want to know when I'm halfway there, right? I want to know what that stepping stone, what it thinks, what the business looks like, or what my journey looks like when I'm halfway there. So that's all that the 3 to 5 year goals is. And the next thing is the major business objectives. And what major business objectives is, that's below your 3 to 5 year goals, and that's what you're going to do this year. And I think this piece is critical, that you gotta, and as leaders, aggressive leaders, this is I think one of the most difficult things is to keep your major business objectives down to 3 or maybe 4. And why is that important? Why is it important to keep your goals, what you're going to do in the next 12 months, down to 3 or 4?
It's attainable.
It's attainable. It's attainable. You can focus on it, and it's attainable. I mean, if I think so often we have the temptation to say, I'm going to do this, and then when you get into it and it's not happening, and you realize you're not getting it done, then what do? You get frustrated, and what do? You quit, right? You stop. So keep it, be disciplined, and it's crucial to keep it down to 3 and 4. But it's what you're going to accomplish this year. What you're going to accomplish this year, and how well, we'll show you in a minute. Is anybody thinking, how do you come up with that? And how do you come up with the 3 or 4 things you're going to do this year? Well, one, it needs to drive towards your vision, but I'm going to show you another technique in coming up with that. And then the last thing is, or the last item at the bottom, is your strategies, tactics, projects, and tasks. Again, this is what you're going to do every day, every week, every month to help you reach your 3 to 4 objectives for the year. So anybody who's got an example of a project, a task? Let me throw one out at you. A price increase. I mean, that's that could be a task, or that could be a project, depending on how complex your product or service is, but a price increase. I mean, and that could certainly drive you to hit your objectives. Give you another example. What about a process change? Right? A process change, or process implementation, or process documentation. I mean, does everybody know what I mean by process?
Yeah.
Give me the definition of process. Whoever said yeah.
I did.
Okay. Give me a definition of process.
I think a systematic approach to operationalizing your business, which results in predictable outcomes.
Right.
Predictable outcomes.
Exactly.
Yes, so that's how I see the process.
Exactly.
A systematic process that is documented, that leads to predictability.
Exactly. Yeah. In my business, we make signs. We have to have, everyone has to know how we make a sign. Everyone has to be, we have 11 people that could be doing production. They all have to know, not 11, we've got like 8. They all have to know how to make the sign. You can't have one person say, oh, I'm going to make it this way, and another person. Everyone has to follow. That's a process. That's a process. And that is a business drives its value from systems, processes, and a lot of that stuff Brandon knows, because you get that from franchising. Special pricing, right? That could be a project, a task. You're going to offer a special. You're going to offer a today. What is today? Harvest Day, Farmers Day. Farmers Day. Okay. Kept a Farmers Day special, right? My men's clothing. I'm going to sell all ties for 3 CDs. Farmer Day special. That's a project, So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So no one asked, but this is a way. I mean, how do you determine your major business objectives? How do you come up with what you're going to do right? And this is a system, it's called a SWOT analysis. Has anyone ever done a SWOT analysis?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so tell me who's done, anybody over here done, on this side, done a SWOT analysis? Right, anybody else? Then let me just give you an quick example of what it is then. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so what a SWOT analysis does is it forces you to sit down and list the strengths of your organization, and then the weaknesses of your organization, then the opportunities that you see for your organization, and then the threats, and list them all. And somebody give me an example of a strength. What is a strength of your organization? Anyone? Yes, sir.
The quality of your staff.
Your quality of your product. Okay, great. What's a weakness?
Poor customer service.
Okay, poor customer service. Okay, all right. What about an opportunity?
Population.
Population. Growing population? Okay, growing population. Okay, yeah, that's definitely an opportunity. Okay, good. And then what about a threat? Competitors? Yeah, I mean,
Government regulations.
typically a threat is really, I guess competitors is right because it's outside of your control.
Yes.
Right? It's good to recognize it, but you don't want to dwell on it. It's outside of your control. So competitors are. What else? Government regulation, somebody, that's always a threat.
Tax increase.
Oh, tax increases, that's a threat. Economy, taking a downturn, that's a threat. Yeah, all of that's threats. So what you do, you're leveraging, the way you come up with your major business objectives is once you get them all listed, and it's a good brainstorming thing, it's a good thing to bring your team together and to go through this. And then what you do is you want to leverage your strengths. You want to overcome your weaknesses. You want to take advantage of the opportunities that you see. Not all of them. And then you just want to beware of the threats. So you only want to pick 3 or 4. So you can't address all of them. So again, just a quick review. Vision is the focus, right? Vision, it's what you see. It's what you want to be going on in your business. That's what you want it to look like in 5 to 10 years. And then below that is your halfway point. Whether it's 3 years, whether it's 5 years, it's just your halfway point. And then below that is what are you going to do this year? What are you going to do this year? What are the 3 or 4 major things? That's why we call them major business objectives, because it's the 3 to 4 major things you're going to do this year. And then under that is how you're going to accomplish the major business objectives through your strategies, your price increases, your process implementation, or whatever it is that you're going to do that's going to help you to achieve those 3 or 4 things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. All right, let me give you some examples. All right, so this is my business, my vision, and for my business. And again, this can change, but the vision is in 5 years, Fast Science of Central Virginia will be a company with $5 million in sales, a net profit margin of 10%, led by a people-centered culture driven by shared ingrained values and focused on giving back to the community and investing back into the company and the team members and employees. That's probably too long of a vision. My employees, they really know the 5 million. The 5 million is what they're focused on because they realize that 5 million is going to give them more opportunities. And that's what we really focus on. And they also know the values because we talk about the values every single day. We go into depth that this is going to be, people-centered, values-driven company. So they know the pieces of it, but could they? And they also know that part of the values is giving back to the community. And so they know the pieces that they couldn't they couldn't recite this. I mean, I can't recite it, but I know the pieces. I know the pieces of it. So that's my vision. This is about a year old. So if I'm halfway to my vision, where am I going to be? So I'm halfway to my vision. I'm going to be at a revenue of $4 million. I'm going to be EBITDA profit. EBITDA is just it's earned. Anybody know what EBITDA is?
Yeah.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, and that's typically how a business is valued by a multiple of EBITDA. So EBITDA of 10%, 4 million, 6 locations, giving 20% of the profits back, and investing 20% of the profits back into the company. I mean, that's again, that's important to invest the profits back into the company. So below that, what are my major business objectives? What am I going to do this year? Well, revenue of $3 million, and actually again that was last year. We accomplished that. Revenue of $3 million, EBITDA of 7%. Yep, we accomplished that. Moved the Midtown location to the Tri-Cities. We didn't accomplish that, but that was a big objective. We actually closed the Midtown location. We want to move it to a nearby town, and then establish a profit sharing plan. I didn't accomplish that. See, so that's 4 major business objectives. I'm teaching this stuff, and I really only fully completed 2 of them. So again, this thing is a living tool. It's a living tool. You want to shoot high, but you want it to be achievable. But that's our major business objectives. And again, how did I come up with that? We did a SWOT analysis. That's how we came up. We sat down as a team, and the way that we do it, and maybe somebody that's done it before would share on how you do it, but the way we do it is, we would be in a room like this, and we would get pieces of paper just like this, and we would go around and list. Okay, strengths. List them all. Everybody would just brainstorm. And then you put this paper on the wall until you run out. Everybody gets tired of talking about strengths. Then you go to weaknesses, and you list. You put it on the wall. And you could do the same thing for opportunities and threats. And then as a team, you vote or you decide, okay, what are the 3 to 4 major things we're going to do based on this, right? And then sometimes you will come up with an objective that will address a strength, a weakness, and an opportunity all at the same time. And that's the way we do it. Who else would like to share the way that you've done it in the past? A similar way?
Yes, broken down into groups, and then with the flip charts, what they do is that they list their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then they prioritize which will have the most impact. Right. And based on that, the strategies developed out of that.
Exactly, just naturally.
Yes, that
flows.
yes.
Right, exactly. So it's is it strengths, weaknesses, individuals, or is it company?
With the strength.
Yeah,
What do you say again?
this is a trick question. Do you list strengths
Yes.
do individuals say, well, I'm strong at marketing? It's company. Yeah, it's corporate. Right, exactly, it's corporate.
Somebody will bring out a suggestion.
Right.
Very brilliant.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's true.
Previously, you were not expecting him to do that.
Right.
That is why brainstorming is very good.
Exactly. It is. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It gives everybody an opportunity to contribute to the strategic plan of the company. I think that's critical. Yeah. Remember the pyramid, and there was 2 things, the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get back to those. Who remembers what was at the top?
The mission.
The mission. And at the bottom was the value. So what is mission? What is mission? Anybody got a definition for mission?
What we stand for.
What you stand for? Okay. All right.
That's your task. What you want to achieve.
What you want to achieve? Okay. Maybe that could be closer to vision, but yeah. What else? What is mission? What's your mission? Anybody have a personal mission?
The occupation.
Do what?
Occupation.
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 Okay, could be.
Passion, or what you are.
Passion.
What you are doing.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Your
What are you
passion.
into?
The specific strategies to do to accomplish your vision.
Okay, no, not quite. I hear where you're going.
something like your aim.
Your aim. Okay, all right, could be.
Or to some matter, purpose.
Your what?
Purpose. Could it be the purpose?
Why you exist as a company?
Why?
Yes, why you exist?
Why?
Your why.
Why?
That's your mission. Your why. I mean, it's what gets you out of bed in the morning. I mean, why? Why do you have this business? Why? I mean, why are you in sales training? What is it about sales training that gets you out of bed in the morning? Because it's got to be more than just making money, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be. If it's just about money, it's not going to last,
Yeah.
right? What would you say, Brandon, about mission?
Mission. We have a family mission. My 4-year-old can even recite it. It's to love God, love people, and change the world. Mission has to be simple. It's a why, but that's absolutely critical.
Yeah.
100%.
Right, yeah. I have a personal mission statement, and it is to be a servant leader of people by investing in their lives, bringing out the best of them, to be a giver to those in need, to have a growing relationship with God where He will work through me to influence others to Christ and work in me so that I may see the world through the eyes of Jesus and treat every relationship and every acquaintance as a gift from God. That's a long mission statement. But that's been added to for probably 20 years. But a mission is what gets you out of bed in the morning. That's your purpose every morning. That's mission. Is it up there yet? Okay, good. All right, and then values are at the bottom. Again, values are that's the foundation. That's the foundation. So mission first. Again, mission gives you your purpose. And let me just share some missions. Anybody ever heard of Merck? I don't even know. This slide's a couple years old. Merck's a global company in pharmaceuticals. And Merck's 74,000 employees, 44 billion in sales. Their mission is we make a difference in the lives of people globally through our innovative medicines, vaccines, and consumer health. That's a mission. And George Merck, the CEO, says, we try never to forget that medicine is for the people. It's not for the profits. The profits will follow, and if we've remembered that, they have never failed to appear. So that's the mission, right? It's not about the dollars. It's about the people. It's about the people. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. You've heard Doug talk about Chick-fil-A. I think he said that it's $9 billion in sales. I mean, that's a lot of chicken. $9 billion of chicken. I think he said 1,900 locations. My slide's a little old. I got 1,700. But it's a big company. And the mission, really, Chick-fil-A calls it their purpose statement. Their purpose statement. And Chick-fil-A's purpose statement is to glorify God by being faithful steward of all that He has entrusted to us, to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. To have a positive influence. I mean, that's a wonderful mission. Does it sound like a business mission? Not really, huh? But with God as CEO, that sounds like a business mission. Anybody else have a mission that their business they want to share about? Just a quick story about Chick-fil-A. So Truett Cathy, who died, I think in 2016, there's a story that I read. He's got a book out, and I read his book, and the story goes that they were in a boardroom, and there was a company. This was back in the late 90s, early 2000. There was a company called Boston Market, and probably now it would be hard to find a Boston Market. But at the time, Boston Market was bigger than Chick-fil-A. And the Chick-fil-A executives sat around a table like this all day on a Saturday, and they were lamenting Boston Market. What are we going to do about Boston Market? What are we going to do about Boston Market? And at the end of the day, Truett Cathy, who was the founder, he had enough, and he stood up and he said, I'm gone, I'm out of here. He said, the answer to your question is, if we focus on our mission, then we will get bigger. Focus on your mission and we will get bigger. And this is the mission. Taking care of the customers, glorifying God. So that's how important, how crucial it is to have a mission. And then if you remember at the bottom of the pyramid were the values.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I work for a corporate entity. It's not about having my own business.
Right.
Okay, so I want to know how I can relate these to the enterprise with which I'm working.
Well, that's a great question. I think it's going to be difficult, right? Because you work for a big corporation, but you can relate it to your life. I mean, Brandon just told you about the mission that his family has, right? And I mean, his family could have a vision. His family could have goals. I mean, what are we going to do as a family? What are the 3 or 4 things we are going to do this year, right? So, you can, like I said before, I've coached a young man with his life using the same pyramid. What do you want your life to look like in 10 years? So, you can, if you're an employee, you can use it personally, or, I mean, maybe you can even say, hey, to your employer, maybe and challenge them. How do we come up with our mission? What's our vision? What are our goals for 5 years? That may be a good way for you to look good, right? Add value. I mean, that adds value.
I don't own my own business either, but I started out just very bottom level, and so my mission was to be different. I wanted to be different. The Dwyer Group has a mission that says we teach our principles and systems in both business and personal success, so that all people we touch live happier and more successful lives. But I didn't see that. So the question then becomes, do you have employees that roll up underneath you right now currently? As your manager, create a vision for your department. You can create vision inside of a company, and it starts here. Because if you have one, you're going to be different. And you say, God, why do you have me here, and who do you have me here for, God? If you make that your conversation with Papa, he'll lay it out for you. Here's son, here's what I have for you. God, why do you have me here, and who do you have me here for? Maybe it's one person. Maybe my mission is one person in this organization. And you can take that pyramid, and the people who report directly to you will be changed forever.
Man, that is awesome. That is awesome. So hang in here because I'm going to need your help with these values as well. And you got any other questions about that? I mean, that's a great example. That's an awesome example. Thank you for that, Brandon. So values. I'm going to need, again, Brandon is a senior vice president of a huge company that uses these values. I mean, they use it. That's where I got it from. Values are the foundation of your business. And it's important. The definition that you can get out of the dictionary for values is that the lasting and important beliefs or ideals shared by members of a culture, company, about what is good, what's bad, what's desirable, or what's undesirable. Again, it's the foundation of the company. At Fast Signs, we have values, and they're based on the principles, the tagline of God is CEO, truth, excellence, and love. And the way we use these is we translate the business as truth/integrity, excellence, love, passion, respect, and then customer focus. That's our values. We talk about these values every single day. We talk about them in depth on Monday mornings because we dive in. What is excellence? And we define excellence as would you put your name on it? Because we're making signs, right? But would you put your name on that customer interaction? Would you put your name on the way you just answered the phone? Would you put your name on the way that you just greeted the customer? I was just in the restroom and I took the guy's picture that was mopping the floor because he had a huge smile on his face. I said, how long have you been doing this? He said, 10 years. I said, I got to take a picture of you because you have an awesome attitude. I mean, he should put his name on the way he greeted me as a customer this morning. So that's how we talk about excellence, and then love, passion, respect. It's the love of life, passion for what we do, and respect for others. And then certainly there's customer focus. But if you think about values as the foundation or the rock of your business, the foundation of your business, is anyone, I think everyone would agree that anything you build should be on a solid foundation. And there's actually scripture, Matthew 7:24. Does anyone have a Bible with them? Somebody read Matthew 7:24.
You said, Rob?
Uh-huh.
Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock.
Okay, so you hear the story that the house built on the sand and the house built on the rock, and like in this picture, and this rains came and the storm came, and what happens with the house built on the sand? Collapses, right? The house built on the rock withstands the stormy times, and that, you know, in business, man, if you have a business that doesn't have any stormy times, I want to know about it. I'm invested in that, because businesses are like life. I mean, you heard my story last night, man. You have stormy times, and you got to have your business as your life built on a solid foundation, and the solid foundation is your values. So you've got cards in front of you. Everybody have cards in front of them with the values. God is CEO values. So let's take some time. Does anybody not have the God is CEO values in front of you? We've got a stack of them. Can you pass those around? Let's take some time to go through these. Brandon, this is where you and Doug can help me here. So there, the God is CEO is this. One of those. On one side, they're foundational values, and on the other side, they're operational values. So let's go around. Who would like? Let's start off with the. With this side, we believe, it talks about, the first one is in superior service. Who would like to read that one?
We believe in superior service to our customers, our community, and to each other as members of the God as CEO team. Proverbs 21:5. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty.
I mean, does that apply to business or not? Superior service?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great, can you argue with that? I mean, can you imagine someone coming to you, one of your employees, and saying, I don't think I believe in superior service. Well, what would you do? I would say, well, you probably don't belong here, right? It's a foundational principle. Who would read the next one?
Question, please. What if you're working for an institution which is not following this value? Do you walk?
Do you walk? I don't know. What somebody else? Somebody else's opinion.
Yeah, so it's a great question. I worked before I came to the company I'm at now. I was in banking. You guys know 2008 banking, lots of corruption, the Great Recession.
Yes.
So I worked for a company that absolutely had to. They even have commercials on TV now that says we reinvented ourselves. Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
It was established and reinvented. So again, this comes to you. This is you. This is internal.
If as an employer, if I had an employee who didn't believe in our values, then I would want them to leave, and I'd find out. I could tell, and I would help them leave. So I'm not going to tell you to leave your job, but I can tell you that if it's not a fit, then it's probably your boss knows that can tell that it's not a fit, or should be able to tell that it's not a fit. It's got to be a fit.
Go up, not out. Go up, not out. Ask God.
Amen.
Why do you have me here? Who do you have here? Maybe he's got you there for you.
Amen.
Maybe he's trying to bring something out of you. Go up, not out. Go up, not out.
Who's got the next one? We can read the next one.
We believe in counting our blessings every day, in every way. Proverbs 14:30. A sound mind makes for a robust body, but runaway emotions corrode the bones. I go back again. A sound mind makes for a robust body, but runaway emotions corrode the bones. Amen?
Amen. So what does that do? What does counting your blessings every day in every way do? What does that do for you?
It motivates you.
It what?
It motivates you.
Motivates you?
That makes you appreciate. You are grateful. Makes you grateful.
Right.
Yeah.
And how does that, if you're feeling grateful and you're feeling motivated, how do people you come into contact feel?
It's contagious.
It's contagious. They feel like, wow, this person has a great attitude. That's like the gentleman in the restroom this morning. I mean, he's counting his blessings every day with that big smile that he had on his face. Man, that is so crucial. Attitude. When somebody asks a question about hiring, you know, and this is kind of a cliche, but you hire for attitude and you train for competence. I mean, that's always been a good rule. You know, you have to make a choice versus somebody that's very skilled with a bad attitude or someone that has a great attitude but is untrained. You hire the person that has the great attitude. All right, let's flip over to the next side, and then this. Brandon, you can help me with this one.
Sure.
Why don't you take this one?
First one.
We're going to take the whole thing. So explain these values. These values, the values are respect, integrity, customer focus, and then having fun in the process. But they have bullets under it. Can you explain the idea behind that, or just explain
Sure.
the values?
Yeah, so this is the very first one kind of lays the foundation. It's we live our code of values by treating others as we would like to be treated. Proverbs 17:9. Love prospers when the fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends. So this is something to give out. Let me keep going.
Yeah, you can have someone else read it.
Okay, yeah, you guys can read. Anybody else? The next one.
Listening with the intent to understand what is being said and acknowledging that what is said is important to the speaker. Proverbs 18:13. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame.
And think about that one. How important is that one? Listening with the intent to understand what is being said and acknowledging that what is said is important to the speaker.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Extremely important.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever talked to somebody? I know I'm guilty of it. Somebody's talking to me and if I'm doing something else, I mean, how does that make you feel? Right.
You know, in Rob, in context with that with God, when we talk to Him, we have to listen to Him too. Same thing. Listen to Him, God, just like He was talking about. And do what we do.
Next one. I'm going to read the next one.
I have a question. Yes, for contribution today. I think on the issue of integrity, that making only agreements we are willing and able and intend to keep. I think there's a part of Proverbs that says that before committing, you must count the cost.
Right.
So I think most of us,
Right.
we don't count the cost before we commit.
Exactly.
So in the process, we are able to, break our promise.
Right.
We are unable to keep our promise because prior to making the commitment, we did not count the cost.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But there is a life raft though, and it's really the next value. Somebody read the next value.
Communicating any potentially broken agreements at the first appropriate opportunity to all parties concerned.
Right.
Proverbs 16:13. Good leaders cultivate honest speech. They love advisors who tell them the truth.
Right. So, you know, things go wrong. Things go wrong. And so, you know, sometimes you can't deliver on what you told somebody you would deliver on. but I just, it's so important to get back to them quickly and explain to them, I'm having problems. I may not be able to deliver this. I mean, to me, those two, they fit together, and that almost, to me, defines integrity. Let's jump down to customer focus. Who can read the first one?
Continuously striving. No.
Continuous striving to, can I read?
Yes.
Continuously striving to maximize internal and external customer loyalty. Proverbs 27:23. Be sure you know the condition of your flocks. Give careful attention to your herds.
Yeah, Doug talked about that verse last night, and one that God gave to him before the Great Recession, and it said it was one of the things that saved him through the Great Recession. What about the next one? Making our best efforts.
Making our best effort to understand and appreciate the customer's needs in every situation. Proverbs 14:29. He who is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who is hasty of spirit exposes and exalts his foolishness.
Can anybody give an example of that one?
Which one?
Of that one he just read, making our best effort to understand and appreciate the customer's needs in every situation. Anybody have an example? Yes.
Okay, so I run a laundry business.
Yes.
And sometimes listening to the clients, the customers, finding the reason for the complaint.
Right.
Exactly what they needed.
Right.
At a point of time.
Right.
So it's not that we say, oh, assuming I need my money, whatever I do to them, I don't care. I just have to do what I want, but I have to make sure I listen to their complaint and exactly what they needed at the right time.
Right.
For me to deliver to them.
Right. Exactly. Somebody talked about last night pricing and margin, and it came to mind as adding value. I mean, how you sales executives, how often is the objection of that's too expensive? How often is that what we call a smoke screen, or not the real objection? How often? 90% of the time. How often?
100%.
100% of the time. Yeah. Right. So that a lot of times cost is not the real need. A lower cost is not the real need of the customer. And so understanding what is the customer's really needing. And a lot of times they're not going to tell you, right? They don't tell you. See, really understanding the customer's needs in every situation. And then the last one we always say together at God as CEO, having fun in the process. All right, let's do that one again. Having fun in the process. I mean, that's so critical, right? Having fun in the process.